I don't notice anything with it. You should be good.
Perfect. All right. Well, people should be hyped for this one. It's the first game of the playoffs. I would hope the chat is amped up and ready to go, but I guess we'll see.
No one cares.
I'm ready. It's packed here. There's a lot of people.
Good.
A lot of media people. Well, the arena's not packed yet. I mean, we still have like 30 minutes till game time. It's starting to fill out, but I'm talking like there's a big presence. Richard Jefferson's on the call from national broadcast. I know you don't care because you
will not be watching.
It's Ryan Ruocco and R. Jeff, so
Oof.
Got a decent. You don't like Ryan? What do you mean?
No, he sucks too. His voice is too high.
Oh my god! Professional hater, Sam.
I am, but
Sam spent.
Don't care for the national if it's not Breen or Harlan.
Sam spent the level, KJ. Just so you know, that it hasn't changed. On our last podcast, Sam spent 5 good minutes hating on DR DeRozan.
No, I didn't. It was maybe 2.
I was up for it. You didn't love it, Sam?
On Twitter, that thought it was the greatest.
Sam wasn't a fan.
I was a fan, honestly. That happened at like a high school game I covered, and there was a girl doing that, and I was like, "This is insane," but I respected it. I mean, if you're gonna do that, try to distract. I mean, it's not a terrible option.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's. I'm not mad at her. I just don't need to see it every time.
You didn't like
every single scroll. Yeah. There would be a new post about her.
Okay.
Not just one post, not just 2 posts. I don't need 5 posts every couple seconds. Don't need.
Like I said, professional hater.
What did you think of that report that she had to be escorted out by security?
Gross.
I don't believe in that. Like, I don't think you should have to have that happen. That's bad.
Well,
bad on the Raptors fans.
They said it was 100% precautionary just because of like the Twitter.
Still though, the fact that people are even like that on the internet in general is disgusting.
Well, that's what the internet is.
I know.
Well, hey,
it's some guy that's I don't even know what to say.
Let me ask you something though, Jack, because it is true. But if you were 14 years old and that happened to your team, how would you feel?
Oh, I'd be on Twitter as a 14-year-old. Oh yeah.
Yeah. 14.
I suppose.
And then it's legal, kind of, because you're
anyone
underage.
14 is doing
legal
it,
fight.
Grow up, but.
No, not a legal fight. It's not a perfect comparison, but if a 10-year-old kills someone, he's not like, oh, he's 10, it's fine, right? Like,
whoa,
that's not how
we're jumping.
You know what I'm saying though? Like,
I didn't say kill.
There's like, obviously there's levels and like there's a level of immaturity, but the fact that like, especially 14, like I get it if you're like 10, 11, but like by the time you're a freshman in high school, I feel like you should have the awareness to, let's not make that threat to the 9-year-old. I feel like that's a pretty good, like, you should have that sound reasoning by the time you're in high school.
I think the age I learned that was 13. So that's why I said 13, 14. That's what I figured out.
I don't know. Twitter's a pretty disgusting.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
We can talk about it
That is it.
It's the playoffs. Knock it off. What do you mean knock it off? We're talking.
Knock what off?
What did we do wrong? Lewis, come on.
We're literally talking about basketball. We're not just.
Yeah, what do you mean?
I'm not talking about nothing.
All right, let's talk
Trae
about
Young
the series.
in town.
Celtics in 5. Are we done? No,
I think they should sweep them.
That's what
they
I'm
lose
saying.
a game,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be upset.
I agree. I'm in that camp. Even though, usually, like Sam can attest, I'm usually that stuff happens. They could lose a game. You shouldn't drop a game to the Hawks. Let's call a spade here. The Hawks are not good. The Hawks are the definition of mid. Celtics are much best. Lewis says thanks, new guy. This Hawks team. We talked about it with Bobby Manning on the podcast, which went up yesterday, I believe. So go check that out for the series preview. But like, Trae Young can do some stuff. He's obviously talented. DeJounte Murray, like they have talent on the roster. It's just like they haven't really put it together. And I do think they'll be better next year because they'll have a full offseason, a full second half of the season with Quinn Snyder, who was cool in the pregame presser. He talked about his relationship with Joe Mazzulla, but it's just they're not gelled enough yet, and this team doesn't seem. They're just not on the Celtics level, like just to put it.
Absolutely not.
Bluntly.
Celtics had the star power. Trae Young. We had this whole debate when we were watching that Heat Hawks game live with people in the chat saying, "Is he a star? Is he not a star?" We talked to Bobby about it in the last show. If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Celtics are the top 2 players in the series.
Yeah, top 2,
right?
Yeah, and then after that they have the rest. Kind of.
No, because I put DeJounte probably at 4, and then the Celtics. You can start piling on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Who would you put as the Hawks' third best player? I mean, I guess Capella.
Probably Capella because he killed Miami.
Yeah, for the
halfway.
rebounding, but also DeAndre Hunter's really good. Like he's somebody who I feel like could piss you off for a game or two.
I feel like the fact that at this point of his career that we're still considering Capella the third best player on the Hawks is a little bit of a problem. Like they definitely need. I mean, I think that honestly, it's not. I'm not trying to be so disrespectful to. I mean, honestly, I might take Okongwu over Capella at this point. I mean that it's definitely trending in that direction.
Okongwu's
But
really good. He's athletic too.
I think that the Hawks' issue is the middle class of their roster, right? They have like fine kind of bench depth. They have two good their first two players are pretty solid, but they don't have that good third, fourth option on their team, or even just best player on their team, and they definitely need to figure that out. I will say, just from a matchup standpoint, I mean, this might be one of the best first round matchups you could have gotten if you're the Celtics. I mean, they're the best player on the Hawks. You have multiple options to neutralize. So and if you look at the real options that it came down to, which were the Heat and the Hawks, the Celtics were 2-2 against the Heat this season. They were 3-0 against the Hawks with a little asterisk because that last game wasn't exactly the Hawks or the Celtics. But I think that from the standpoint of those options they have defensively against Trae Young, and the limited options the Hawks have in terms of defending Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, it's an infinitely better matchup than the Heat would have been. Not that they wouldn't have beat the Heat, but it's a much more comfortable matchup for the Celtics for sure.
I agree. It's less taxing. I said this before the play-in started. Teams I would have wanted to face less than the Hawks, as in teams I would be slightly more scared. Scared of is not the right word, but like I feel more comfortable playing the Hawks than the Heat, than the Bulls, than the Raptors, than the Pacers, than the Magic, than the Wizards. Like the Hawks, they strike no fear.
Wow. Okay. The Wizards, I guess, because of that last game in March, that could scare you. But still, even just saying it shocks me for a second.
Like my dad said, Orlando, like nothing.
Wow.
It doesn't matter. Also, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate this. Sam and I laughing at this comment when it came through.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I was
glad it was decent.
Bulls Raptors was even too far, but Wizards and Magic.
No, the Hawks. Wow. The Hawks strike zero fear in the heart. They don't play any defense. Trae Young is a superstar. He's so streaky. He's not a good shooter. He's a good like shot maker, but like efficiency wise, he shot like 33% this season. It's just like they don't really, and he's he's unwilling to share the ball in the sense that he's a good playmaker, but he's not willing to share that's a good way to phrase it. Yes, exactly.
Him and Luka, they sit on the ball, they rack up assists because they make the right play when it comes to them, but they're not really moving the ball around to the point where it makes it hard for the defense. They're just picking the right pass on the odd occasion it does come. So I'm interested to see how the Celtics defend Trae Young. I hope they don't throw a double at him like they have in the past. I remember when they were doing that, it didn't go well for them. Just sit back, defend. You have the guys to do it. You have Smart, you have White, you have Brogdon. They're all capable. Give them hell. That's what you got them for. In terms of scoring, you shouldn't have any problems. Jayson Tatum should come to play today. Brown is going to play, right, Jack? Even though he, hurt his hand.
Gallinari is the only Celtics
picking up a vase. Who knows what he actually did? I don't believe that for a second. I'm sorry. But
what for the record, what do you think it would have been?
I don't know what it could have been.
How do you cut your hand? Like it was right here, right on his thumb. So like what activity could you be doing that you
I think he was correct. I think he just dropped something and was picking up broken glass. I don't think it's any like more
can't pick it. I'm not convinced you're cutting yourself like that. I don't know.
I can't think of like a malicious way though, and I don't know if malicious is the right word. Just I can't think of an irresponsible way in which he would have gotten that injury other than just purely accidental.
Who knows?
Like like if you were partying and like I don't know. I mean I just don't see it. I mean I agree with you, Sam, that the story sounds like a lie. 100%.
Sounds like nonsense.
Yeah, it does. But
I'm not in the NBA, but I'm coordinated enough to pick glass off the ground if it breaks up or use a dustpan.
Yeah, I mean we've all cut ourselves stepping on glass, though.
But he didn't cut his foot.
Yeah, I know. Well,
what is he doing? Handstands around his apartment?
Yeah, I don't know. I have the only reason. I just have a hard time figuring out, okay, what could it have been in that kind of speculation? I can't figure out what would be a good bit of speculation there. But I do want to ask about Trae Young again because I've generally been a Trae Young guy since he entered the league. I still probably consider myself a Trae Young guy. I think there's a chance that he still grows into the player that he could be. I mean, you look at what he did helping the Hawks get to the conference finals a few years ago. I'm still in on Trae Young, but I think definitely this year he was a more of an issue than anything for the Hawks when you look at all the stories, the issues he had with McMillan, and beyond that, not unwillingness to play off ball. So I'm curious for you guys. Do you feel like this Trae Young buzz? Do you think this is legit? Do you think this is serious?
I think it should be. Trae Young's fine. It's just like I'll let you go in a sec, but that Eastern Conference Finals run was just it screams fluke, right? You get the Julius Randle at Knicks in the first round, and as much as I like Julius Randle, and I know Sam you don't, but like that Knicks team was the beneficiary of a ridiculously good 3-point shooting season from Randle and RJ Barrett, and the Hawks exposed it. Then they played the Sixers, who, if you needed more evidence that the Sixers aren't scary, I mean, come on. Like, Ben Simmons was on his last legs there. It just, like, that's scary. And then they lost to the Bucks, which, like, yeah, duh. So, like, that's fine. With how many rumblings you hear coming out of Atlanta that Trae Young could be the problem, and the price they could probably get for him if you put him in a good situation, a better situation for him, like Brooklyn or New York or Miami, like a situation with a hard-nosed head coach who plays defense, who emphasizes the parts of the game Trae Young isn't good at, that just needs a ball handler. That's good. I think the Trae Young era in Atlanta could come to a close fairly soon, or at the very least, get John Collins out of there. The guy can't catch a break. It's brutal. Anyway, sorry, Sam.
No, it's funny. I think to your point, well, I want to start by saying this: Trae Young's not good enough to act the way he does. 2, if he is going to get traded, I think you really make a good point with the hard-nosed head coach. If he's going to go somewhere and the team is going to have success, I think the coach's say is going to have to matter. So you can't go to some team with just like a cardboard cutout of a coach that can be easily replaced. If he goes to Miami and Spoelstra's there, if he starts stirring things up with Spoelstra, he's not winning that. He's not. Yeah. It's going to give me vertigo. I'm going to vomit.
Seriously. I have a touchpad. Sorry, my mic is like leaning on the touchpad. So sorry.
No, you're good. But if he goes somewhere with an established coach, he's not going to be able to run that guy out of town. It just doesn't happen that way. In New York, Tibbs, I would love to see him play with Tibbs. That'd be real funny. Tibbs would be miserable. They have
Snyder's
similar hair.
Snyder's better than like it feels like they're going in the right direction. It's just tough.
Yeah. I mean, what are they? I want to say 10-11 since Snyder joined. 11-12.
I don't know. I don't have those numbers. Do you have those numbers, Jeff?
I can stat use it real quick.
I will say while you're looking it up real quick, just I feel like I don't know what your guys' actual answer would be, but for
10
me,
and 11. Sam got it right.
10-11. So I feel like if it came down to it, if I was the Hawks, I wouldn't trade Trae Young because I don't know what I'm going to get that's better. I think you could argue that's the same issue they've had with John Collins, is that their unwillingness to trade John Collins, I feel like, has stemmed from the mediocre return they're getting and a feeling of, well, we're better off just keeping John Collins, and maybe they've been proven wrong in that. But I feel like at this point, you still have an all-star. At the very least, from a business standpoint, it is very risky to trade Trae Young. I do think it's interesting, though, when you think about bringing in Trey Snyder.
I couldn't hear anyways. That's
when you think about bringing in Quinn Snyder, look at the point guards Quinn Snyder has kind of had on these teams. I don't know how much of a factor this will be, but you're talking about guys like Ricky Rubio, Mike Conley, that generally, like, not anywhere near as bad defensively as Trae Young. I mean, Ricky Rubio is a pretty solid defender. Mike Conley was a pretty good defender, and that's kind of the player he's had spearheading his defensive attack. This would be a far stretch from that, and you have to wonder if he, as a coach, feels a little bit more comfortable having DeJounte Murray as that player, considering what his teams have been structured like in the past.
I'd rather have Murray. If you're building, I think you can split. Because of Murray, you can get rid of Young. You're not losing anything there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the guy that can handle the ball, the guy that can distribute. Murray can play defense to an extent. He's long. He can get steals. He's not undersized like Trae Young. If you get rid of Young, you can bring in another piece that might help you, maybe a wing. I don't know who's looking to, offload one of those. because they're pretty valuable in today's game.
Would you trade Trae Young for Jimmy Butler?
Wow.
Yeah, I think that it
teams?
depends how confident you are if you're Atlanta and the rest of your sporting cast. I think if you get Jimmy Butler next to DeJounte Murray, that's a really
Jimmy
good
Butler,
defensive
DeAndre
team.
Hutton, Hunter, John Collins.
I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
If you were who?
If I was Atlanta, I don't think I'd do that. I don't think I would if I was the Heat either, for the record. I don't think either team would. Maybe the Heat would. I just feel like the age gap is too much for me to overcome there.
Would you do?
I'm a really big Trae Young guy, so I might be able to anyway.
What about like Cat?
I'd probably do that. Yeah, I think I would do that.
What if you're Minnesota? Trae Young, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels.
I feel like if they didn't have the Gobert issue, I might say no. But I feel like you're not going to trade Gobert. At the very least, you're not going to get anything of value of him. Gobert and Towns aren't working. Do I have a better chance with Edwards, Gobert, and Towns, or Young and Edwards and Gobert? I would consider it if I was Minnesota more so than I would this time last year. But I think that they're in such a rough spot with that Towns Gobert situation that they almost might have to.
Yeah, it's tough. I just don't think like I agree with Sam. I'd almost rather build with DeJounte Murray and the rest of the cast, especially with all the stuff coming out about Trae behind the scenes. It's just kind of a tough situation because they kind of almost went all in on the squad that went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they kind of realized, wait, we're the 8th best team in the conference. It's probably not going to be. So I just think it's been kind of a mess since. Oh, there we go.
I made it. I was at my. I think it's technically my little cousin. I don't know if he's my first cousin or second cousin. It's my cousin's son's first birthday. So I was popping by, dropping off a gift, and then I looked at the time and I was like, I gotta get back. Weird start time.
Not a fan.
A little bit.
I like it, but I don't like it at the same time because it means my night's free. I'm gonna go see the Mario movie tonight. Actually.
Okay, there you go.
Why is your screen not on, KJ?
Is my screen not on?
The screen's on for me.
I only see darkness. What the heck? That's weird.
I see my screen on.
I see everything.
Okay,
that's weird.
I might turn it on and off just in case.
Let's see. No, that's weird. It's blacked out for me.
I see it. That's odd.
Well, I will say, in regards to this, I feel like I get what you were saying, Jack, about that Eastern Conference Finals run. Yes, like calling it fluky is completely fair, but I also think that even if you want to say it's fluky, having a player even capable of doing that in any sense, I think is not something to necessarily turn your nose up at. I would just want to see what it. I think I'd be a little too afraid of what it would look like. I think with Quinn Snyder and DeJounte Murray, you can have a pretty good team if you trade Trae Young and put some other pieces around it. But I think that you have a better. I think it's safer, especially from a fan standpoint, to just build around Trae Young.
Hey, there you are, KJ. I can see you now.
Brought it back. Something we were talking about on our podcast with Bobby Manning yesterday. Thank you very much, Landon. We appreciate you. I brought this up, and I think Bobby makes a good point when he talked about Derek White and Marcus Smart. I know Sam and I have talked about how Marcus Smart hasn't exactly been the version of himself that we saw at the start of the year, and Derek White's obviously been ridiculous. If you're closing a game, what's your closing five against the Hawks specifically? Because my thing is, with Clint Capella out there, you almost want Rob, you want the rebounding, you want that extra hustle on the glass. And so that kind of breaks down to, obviously, the Jays are going to be there, so you're going to have one guard past that. Who is it, Derek, or is it Marcus?
Trae Young coming out.
Yeah, it's the Hawks just came out of the tunnel.
So we're talking about having Rob at the 5, Tatum, then Brown, and then you're looking at your 1 and 2 spots. It's got. Would you? I mean, if you're not playing Al Horford, then it's easy. You play Derek and Smart together. But if you're trying to beat size, then it's a different story. But I mean, if you had to pick one over the other, I think right now it's really, really hard to say not Derek White, because I feel like he's just been so good, and especially down like in these clutch situations. But knowing Joe Mazzulla, he probably won't play him. He'll probably put Marcus in.
To me, it's game to game.
It should be
whoever has it that day.
And I think that's totally fair. I think that's a fair expectation. Also, it depends situational, right? Like if you're looking for a stop, you're probably going to put Smart in there, especially since it seems like now, according to him, this is the healthiest he's been at this point in time in a long time. Like the closest he's been to 100%.
Yep.
Which is good.
I think that depends too, though, because I mean, it sounds like Derek White's going to make first team all defense this year, and you know he deserves it. And so I think that there's been a lot of talk about Marcus Smart towards the end of these games for years, and whether or not he's too assertive, he's too aggressive towards the end of these games. And I feel like they've found something having Derek White out there that actually works, and Marcus Smart is maybe the better option for a lot of a good portion of the game, but Derek White at the end of the games, I feel like that's a combination that works for them if they go White, Brown, Tatum, Horford, Rob.
Sorry, Celtics coming out of the tunnel right now wearing one Boston Marathon themed warm-up t-shirts.
There you go.
They just did a huddle. Grant Williams led them out of the tunnel, in case you're curious.
Oh, they're going to lose then.
Do they have him holding a flag?
No, but for
the Braveheart.
I don't think it's happened much this season. Tatum and Brown came out with the team. Whole team came out same time.
Wow.
No like delayed entrance. Everybody together. So
big sign of unity from the stars coming out at the same time.
I know it doesn't seem like much, but like the way they look ready. They look ready to go.
I agree with Jack. I do think it is like kind of a cool thing. I think it's dumb that they didn't do it in the first hand.
It is weird that they didn't, but I mean, if there's any time to do it, I feel like it is now. I mean, looking at the Celtics this past season, granted, you know, Jayson Tatum's been great. Jaylen Brown's been fantastic, but it's really because as a team, they've played fantastic basketball. It's not like just a handful of guys. It's everyone collectively coming in and contributing, because there's been so many points in time where you're turning to Luke Cornett for serious minutes. Blake Griffin's coming in and playing like crucial minutes when Rob's hurt and Al Horford's resting on a back-to-back. You throw Blake in there as a starting center, and he's actually doing well and holding his own. So they're here now where they're at because of just how well they played this year. I just think it's cool. I think it's good to see that unity.
The bass is so loud in TD Garden that it is vibrating through my headphones, and that is all I hear. It is obscene.
Well, they want it to be a party in
chat too. What are we talking about?
So there's a water bottle that John has, and I don't know if it's the same brand, but he has like a water bottle that he like loves and is like always drinking it. And someone's like, it looks like a ketchup bottle, and yours kind of looks like it because it's red.
A good water bottle.
I don't know if it's the same brand though. His is different. It's like a pop top thing. I don't know which it is, but we've got our picks. Yeah,
you want to get rich enough to get yourself your own ketchup bottle. You take the playoff pregame pick presented by Smash the Odds at Smash Odds on Twitter. Daily free picks. You can pay for the premium service for those premium picks. The premium payday comes along with that. Their pick today, Jayson Tatum under 30.5 points. Isn't predicting a strong start from the man in this first round series. Who knows? Maybe we'll see them go to Jaylen Brown a bit more. Hopefully the game isn't close enough for Tatum to need to do that or be out there that much. Mm-hmm. My pick, personally, we talked about him already. Marcus Smart over 5.5 assists. I'm hoping that they get back to having him be more involved in the facilitation of this team's offense. I feel like they're truly at their best when that's the case. You saw it earlier in the season when he was playing really great basketball, racking up the assists. The Celtics were running through teams. Obviously, that comes along with knocking down shots, though. Once they stopped making shots, he went down, came back, never really played the same. We'll see how they use him today. Jack, any input on, I know you probably don't have FanDuel or DraftKings up after they left you hanging earlier this week, but you may have some thoughts.
I tried to log in during our stream, but I didn't have
what I'm doing right now.
So it wouldn't send the SMS to my phone, so I just couldn't log in anywhere. So it pissed me off, and so I didn't do it.
I got
Jared,
a face lock on mine.
I don't like the slander, Jared. There's no green screen. Come on, leave me alone. My buddy texted me before the game. Danny, friend of the
Nice.
show, old friend of the show. Al Horford over 9.5 points. Got
Yeah,
hot in
good
the playoffs
pick.
Last year, he can do it again this year. I'll roll with that. That's what I'm looking at.
Maybe they don't even play him. You know, maybe he gets a little tuckered out, and they're just like, we're going to
Ow.
save him for Embiid and Giannis later.
Come on now, don't
They're already looking ahead.
Come on. No, I think people are gonna get hot. I think the Celtics are gonna, like I said, I think they're ready to roll. I think they're gonna come out here and kind of blow them out of the water. I really think they're gonna.
I'd appreciate
play
it
really
if they
well
did.
from the jump.
I don't want to have
Honestly,
any stress.
I wouldn't be surprised though if one of the main things we're talking about in this series is how much rest should like players like Al, Rob, Tatum, Brown be getting. Like that, honestly, it might be that type of series where that's one of the main things that we're focusing on.
Jack's dad is trying to get rich. He has put his parlay in the chat.
Oh, I think
Celtics
this might
money
be.
line.
This is.
Is it CLNS's promotion?
No, I don't
It's a
think so.
FanDuel promotional one. My dad
It's
likes
the
the ones that
FanDuel
they
one.
promote on FanDuel,
It's.
yeah.
I just set that one up. I'm gonna submit it in a second. I was gonna add one more wrinkle to it. Try and
It's
get that money up. It's not a bad one. No,
It's real good.
I think
The
that's
one that
pretty-
might catch
pretty
you
good.
is the Al Horford 15 points.
Yeah, but I feel like he's gonna
It's
feast.
standard.
I feel like he's gonna hit a couple threes.
Possible. Very possible. Phil with the score prediction here. Last time we had a score prediction, it was Jimmy J predicting 40 to 30 on the dot.
And he was right, yeah.
Ridiculous.
What
So,
game was that? That was a game I didn't think that. Oh, it was Milwaukee.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah, and they killed him.
I didn't think Tatum had 40.
Yeah, they killed him
Wow.
in 3 quarters, and Tatum just lit it up, and then they sat them down.
That's nuts. You take it, though. I mean, you'll have to see it. But... Oh, man. Feels good. Sam, I am happy to report the arena is filling up more so
Good.
than Miami. So
Yeah, Miami,
There you
they don't show up. Jack, I do have a request. When they do it, please post the pregame video on Twitter.
Oh, okay. I'll have to
Also,
remember
I
that.
really hate – I want to say this because I haven't said it all year. I hate that they did the pregame video, the hype video, with all the trophies because they haven't won anything. This is an old man take, like, angry Boston guy, but it's kind of like, okay, you, like, choked away a finals win last year, and now you're all hanging out with the trophies you didn't win? Okay. All right, you better go win them. I do like the slogan. I like the unfinished business. I like it. I am pro that, but I am anti hanging out with all the trophies you didn't win.
So, is there I noticed this on those unfinished business shirts that they have at the arena today. I couldn't put 2 and 2 together though. Is there a reason that the IS is like highlighted?
18.
Banner 18.
Is there like a little connecting part that says 18, or is it just you're supposed to be smarter than that?
They like extend, like the S extends a little bit, so it's
Okay.
supposed to make it. It's not an 8. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's
Jack,
cool
you might have
design.
broke
I like the idea.
T-shirt story. You might have been first. You might have been first to
Maybe.
post all the super cool T-shirts everyone will get. That
I
are
got
all
there early.
big as hell, and like 90% of the people can't fit it.
I think Bobby got a new cut before the playoffs.
Oh,
I just saw it. He had just posted for his ZLNS and posted from the game. You can tell he's got a fresh fade.
All right.
Yes, Bobby.
He's
I
ready
did
to
see
go.
it. I thought you said cup. I was like, what? No, Bobby. Yes, correct. I did see it today.
I was
Anyways.
kind of thinking about this the other day, real quick. Is just that if you look at the championship odds, the Bucks and Celtics are at the top right now going into the playoffs, and I just feel like that on balance, before the conference finals, the Western Conference playoffs are just going to be so much infinitely more interesting than the Eastern Conference playoffs, because I feel like we're just on a crash course to Celtics Bucks, and in the West, I genuinely think it could be like anything, and I feel like that's one of the things that has kind of been at the front of my brain as we kind of go into the first round here.
Yeah, I agree. All the West matchups are super interesting. The East, I think the East has good matchups. I think Knicks Cavs is cool, but like you said, I just think Celtics Bucks is destined to happen. But we can wrap it up there. The game's going to tip off in about 5 minutes. Anything else you guys want to say before we close out?
No, I'm ready. I sure would like to not stress for this whole series because it should be a
Celtics in
wash.
3.
Yep, I agree with that.
That's the
All right.
spirit. Yeah.
Well, in that case, we will get on out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys can check out all our Twitters. Those are below our faces. You can follow us on all the socials. Subscribe to the channel. We'll have a pod out this weekend, I assume, at some point. We'll get something
We're
out
gonna
before
go for
Tuesday.
tomorrow. We'll see how the schedules of Jack and I
Yes.
line up.
Hopefully tomorrow. If not, it will be out on Monday. And then we'll be here for pregame on Tuesday. So we'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys later.
Cheers.